Good morning. Welcome to our live yoga class. I'm Joanna. If we've not met before, I am a faculty member at Your Yoga Flow, and I'm also an alumni student of the school. And it is my pleasure to guide you today through this Hatha practice for the upper body. So I'm not sure what your daily routines look like and what your work is like, but personally for me, I do a lot of work when I'm not teaching at a computer. And when I am teaching, I'm also driving a lot from space to space. So what I notice with those activities is that there is a tightness between the shoulder blades. There's often some discomfort around the neck. And so for today's practice, I wanted to tap into those spaces. So if you are somebody who drives a lot for work or sits at a desk or computer, you might find that this class really serves and supports you. It is a Hatha class, and the whole class will be floor-based today, meaning we won't be doing any standing postures. We will do a little bit on our hands and knees. We will get into some lunges, but there won't be any standing asana. If you would like to collect some props, I encourage you to grab a couple of blocks. I have 2 grey blocks there and a chip foam block. And in the basket, you'll see there's an eye pillow, and I also have a bolster and a strap. Those are things that you could grab if you have them to hand. If you don't, you could use your makeshift items at home, rolled up blankets. You could use a belt or a bathrobe tie. You could use books instead of blocks, cushions instead of a foam block. Be creative with what you have and bring your things to your mat. And I will meet you on your mat in child's pose to begin. So you can choose a child's pose that serves you. I'm going to use a blanket under my ankles and knees because I really like the comfort and the extra warmth of that. So you can do the same if that supports you. And you could have your knees wide, or you could have your knees together and starting to soften your forehead and your chest towards the floor. You can always add a block here between your forehead and the floor if that supports you better, especially if you have high blood pressure or get any dizziness or nausea. You might not want to lower your head lower than your heart, so use the block instead. I'll just show you what that would look like. If you have a gap between your pelvis and your heels, you could use the bolster or your rolled up blanket in that gap between pelvis and heels for a bit of extra padding, cushioning, and support. So once you've found your child's pose, begin to receive your breath, meaning just simply start to allow full breaths to enter your nose and either be released from the nose or mouth. And as you start to regulate your breath, if you can, see if you can keep the air pathway just coming in and out through your nose. That is the best pathway for the breath. And while you're here in your child's pose, can you allow your lower belly to start to soften and relax? And can you begin to tap into how the upper body is feeling today? When you're doing this, do it without any judgment, just noticing, observing. If your forehead is in contact with the earth or a block, feel free to roll the forehead across your prop or across the mat, as this can really help with any tightness in the front of the head, any issues with headaches or migraines, any sinus congestion. Lovely. And let's take 3 cleansing breaths together here. Take a big inhale through your nose and a full exhale from the mouth. And again, big inhale through the nose. Big exhale from the mouth. One more cycle in and out. And then just return to your natural breath. And we'll start to just inhale and walk the hands over to the right, as far over to the right as you can, taking your head and upper chest with you. And then bowing your head in between your arms. Option to place your left hand on top of the right one and hug your left hip back and down. You're breathing into the left side of your body. Forehead, once again, resting to the floor or resting to your block. Take 3 breaths here, relaxing your jaw, relaxing your forehead. Use your next inhale to walk your hands all the way through center and over to the other side, so over to the left. And again, your right hand can rest on top of the left one as you bow your head down between your arms. You're looking for a length and stretch in your right side body. Sweeping the breath up and down that space. Remembering you don't have to have your arms completely straight. If it feels better to have your elbows a little softer, please do that. Three more breaths here. And then use your inhale to come back to center and exhale in your full child's pose. Either remain like this if this is giving you enough around your shoulders, great. Or option now to slide a bolster or your 2 blocks under your hands. Extending your arms long and resting your hands to the prop and returning your forehead to the floor or your block. You can always have your hands on 2 blocks here if that's what's available to you, or 2 books. And this is to increase the sensation around your shoulders and under your arms. Just see how you go with this. If it's too much, simply remove it. Let's take 3 more breaths here. Lovely. Use your inhale to lift your head and place your hands onto the mat, just so that you can slide your prop closer to you, so either the bolster or the blocks. Now what we're going to do next is put our elbows onto that prop. So this one takes a little bit of maneuvering and wiggling to get into. So elbows on the props, hands together. lowering your forehead either onto your prop or back down to the floor. And then walking your elbows close to the sides of your face and forwards. Let your chest melt towards the floor and bring your hands either to the back of the head, neck, or rest your hands to your shoulder blades, wherever you can reach. This is to get a little deeper into the tricep muscles on the backs of your upper arms, and again around those shoulders. See how you go with it. You don't have to do it on the prop. You can slide that away and play with it without props, or you can simply remain in one of the other shapes we've already done. Remembering that with these classes, everything is an option and everything is an additional layer that you could either add on or a layer that you can take away. Take 3 more breaths in this tricep stretch. Begin to lift your head and chest, placing your hands back onto the mat and removing any props in front of you. Walk your knees underneath your hips and come to tabletop position, hands and knees. I'm just going to adjust my blanket so that it is a little more padded for the knees. Feel free to do the same. Your hands are underneath your shoulders. Your toes could be tucked or untucked, your choice. And we'll just begin by swaying the hips right and left. Just very simply and gently. Pressing the rib cage right and left. Creating more fluidity through the entire length of your spine. Just notice how that feels today. You can either stay doing this, or you can play with isolating the rib cage. So you will round your back towards the sky, and then you will draw your ribs down towards the mat. Just going in one direction, making a big circle. And this isn't always easy. It can be a little tricky just to isolate the ribs like this. So see how you go. If it's not working for you, you go back to where we just were. Try that in the other direction as well. And then coming back to center. Let's take cat-cow. So as you inhale, you'll tilt your tailbone towards the ceiling. You'll soften your belly towards the earth. You'll rise your chin and chest up, keeping your elbows soft. As you exhale, you'll draw your tailbone under your body, you'll round your middle back, and you'll look to your belly button. 2 more of those. Inhale, forwards and up, heart shining. And exhale, rounding the back. 1 more cycle. Inhale, forwards and up, heart lifts. And exhale, rounding the back. Come back to a neutral spine. Let us now inhale and float the right arm into the sky, opening the chest right. As you exhale, take your right arm under your left arm and lower your right ear and shoulder to the floor just for a moment. Push into your left hand, inhale, come back through tabletop, floating that right arm back to the sky. And exhale, right arm under your left arm, right ear and shoulder connecting to the floor. Let's do that once again. Inhale, use the whole inhale breath, rolling up, looking up to the right hand. Exhale, right arm under the left. And let's lower this right ear and shoulder now. If your right ear and shoulder does not touch the floor, slide either your blocks or bolster back underneath your body so that your right shoulder and right ear can land there. Keep your hips high to the sky. Your belly button drawn in. And either keep this left hand where it is, that might be really supporting you and stabilizing you. Or you could play with a different position for this left hand. So how would it feel to walk the left fingers forwards to the front of the mat? And maybe slightly over to the right side of the mat. Might give you a really nice stretch around the shoulder, under the arm, and into your side body. Or if you're feeling very balanced, how would it feel to float this left arm up to the sky? Or maybe even wrap the left hand onto your lower back, or all the way around to your right hip crease. Wherever you are, think about keeping equal length in both sides of your waist. So try not to let the hips lean too far one way or the other. There might be a tendency for them to want to lean to the left here. Try and keep equal weight through both legs and equal length through both sides of the waist. Let's take a couple more breaths here. Imagine someone has their hand gently pressing in the space between your shoulder blades that you're breathing into. And every time you breathe in, you are creating more space for release for when the exhale arrives. Begin to guide your left hand back to the mat if it's not already. Press down into this left hand and come all the way back to tabletop. Exhale your breath as you find center. Sway your hips again or move the spine in any way that feels good. If this is a little bit too much pressure on your knees at this point, feel free to tuck your toes, spread your fingers, lift your pelvis to the sky and hug your heels towards the floor for downward facing dog. This can be a great release not only for the knees, but it can provide a lovely length in the backs of your legs. And it also helps us to build a little more strength and stability through our arms and shoulders. So feel free to enjoy this for a few more breaths. When you're ready, returning to your hands and knees. Inhale your left arm into the sky. Exhale your left arm under your right arm, left ear, left shoulder, gently connecting to the floor. Push into your right hand, inhale, coming all the way back up, left arm to the sky, turn the chest left. Exhale, left arm under the right, left ear, left shoulder to the floor. Last cycle, inhale, come all the way up, heart shining to the left. And then use the whole exhale to begin to lower and settle into this side. Again, feel free to add a prop or two under your left shoulder and left ear. Feel free to keep that right hand where it is or walk the right hand to the front of the mat, maybe slightly over to the left. Maybe right arm in the sky or wrap behind your back. Or even around to your left hip. Centering your pelvis, length through both sides of your waist, and find your breath. Noticing with every exhale breath, more of that tightness and tension dissolving, being released. Any build-up around the head, neck, and shoulders being released. Let's take 3 more breaths. You'll root down into that right hand, using your inhale, coming back to tabletop. Placing your hands to the mat, removing your props. Exhaling your breath, and again, just moving through the hips and back. Maybe tucking the toes again and finding downward facing dog. Finding a couple of breaths in a moment to reset the body. And then guiding the knees back to the earth one last time. Here we're going to walk our hands far forward as we can and as wide as the mat as we can. We're going to keep the pelvis high and we're going to sink the chest down to the floor and back towards the legs. Your forehead can rest on the floor or on a block, or your chin can rest on the floor or on a block. If this is too much for your shoulders, please bend your elbows, put more of your forearms to the floor. If this feels good around your shoulders, you can play with coming up onto your fingertips, so more of your arm bones lift away from the floor. Or you could also play with how wide your arms go or how parallel your arms go, depending on the sensation you want to feel. Everybody's shoulders are slightly different, so make sure you are accommodating the pose to suit where you are at today and what your shoulders need. Let's take 3 breaths here. Once you're done your 3 breaths, you can start to inhale and come back to tabletop position. You can either stay in tabletop or you can tuck your toes again and come into a downward facing dog. We're going to inhale our right leg into the sky. And then exhale, hug the right knee to the chest and step the right foot forwards. Lowering the left knee either down onto your blanket, the mat, or your chip foam block. You can have your hands on the floor or hands to your blocks if you prefer. Or you can start to lift your chest and bring your hands to your hips. We are going to get into some side body and shoulder work here. So option now to grab your strap. You're going to place the strap in either hand and allow the strap to be, allow your hands to be quite wide along the strap. You're going to inhale your breath and lift your arms all the way up to the sky. And as you exhale, you're going to take your arms back behind you as far as is comfortable for you. Inhale, bring those arms all the way back up, and then exhale, bring the arms down in front of you. Now this isn't for everybody's shoulders, so please either adjust the width of your strap, or you can always play with this without the strap, no problem. Taking the arms back, and then bringing the arms up and forwards, that's great. This is a little bit of shoulder flossing. So here we go. 2 more rounds of this. Inhale, both arms up. Exhale, both arms back and down. Inhale, both arms up. Exhale, bring the arms forwards and down. 1 more cycle. Inhale, arms all the way up. Exhale, arms back and down. Inhale, arms all the way up. Exhale, arms forwards and down. Nice. Inhale, arms up with or without the strap. Exhale, take a side stretch over to the right with your strap, with your arms, with your upper body. So you feel a bit of extra length in your left side, and maybe even into your left hip flexor. Lovely. Use your inhale to come back to center. And as you exhale, take that strap behind your rib cage and then place your hands on either end of either strap, either end of the strap. You're going to take your arms up. You're going to lean back a little bit, lifting your chest and pressing your hands into the support of the strap and allowing the strap to support the back of your rib cage. Really nice. Use your inhale to come back to center and then exhale as you release that. Taking your right hand behind your back and your left hand to the sky with the strap. You'll walk your left hand down towards the back of your head, neck or shoulders, and your right hand is walking up the strap to see if the two can meet one another. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. Maybe you don't need the strap for this one. Wherever you are, lift your chin and your chest a little bit more. Take a nice big breath in and a nice big breath out. And again, big breath in, big breath out. One more cycle in and out. Release the strap, place it to one side. Place your hands back to the mat or onto your block. Take your pelvis back, flex your right foot and fold your chest towards that right leg. Breathing into your right hamstring. I know this is an upper body class, but we can't neglect the lower body too. So let us send a bit of love into this right hamstring, into our lower back. Keep hugging your right hip back and down. Keep folding your heart towards your right toes. Breathe, breathe, breathe. You can stay here or you can walk your two hands and your two blocks over to the long right side of your mat and then just allow your legs to stay exactly as they are. Keep hugging your right hip back and down and folding your chest towards that long side of your mat to maybe get into your IT band a little more. 3 more breaths. These 45-minute classes always fly by, so I'm trying to give you a well-rounded practice in this time without it feeling too rushed. Use your inhale to come back to center and plant that right foot back to the floor. Bend the right knee, put your blocks to one side, and then step back to either your tabletop or your downward facing dog. And exhale your breath. Rock the hips, reset. If you know you're going to need your chip foam block for the other knee, you can slide it over to the other side now. Inhale your left leg into the sky. Hug your left knee into your chest. Step the left foot forwards super lightly and lower your right knee to the earth. Again, you're on your fingertips here or your hands are coming to your blocks and you'll begin to lift your chin and your chest. Further to this, placing hands to your hips and centering yourself, finding your steadiness, finding your strap if you're using that today. And we'll begin with our shoulder flossing. Hands wide on the strap if you're using one. Inhale, both arms up to the sky. Exhale, taking the arms back and down. Inhale, bringing the arms up. Exhale, bringing the arms in front of you. 2 more of these. Inhale, all the way up. Exhale, all the way back and down. Inhale, all the way up. Exhale, forwards and down. 1 more cycle. Really use the breath to follow through the movement. Inhale up. Exhale, back and down. Inhale up. Exhale, back and down. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, lean to the left with your arms and your upper body Breathing into your right side. Inhale all the way back to center. Take that strap around the back of your rib cage. Place your hand on either end of the strap, lengthening the arms, lifting the chest, leaning back into your strap, and using the press of your hands into the strap to support the back of your rib cage. Chin slightly lifted, don't take the head too far back. This is just a gentle, supported upper back bend. Use your inhale to come back to center. Put the strap just in your right hand and extend your right arm into the sky. Take your left arm behind you. Slide your right hand down to the back of the head, neck, or shoulders, and then slide your left hand up the strap any amount, or remove the strap and do this without. Right elbow goes back and in, chest is lifted. We've got 3 breaths here. Maybe you add a bit more bend into your front knee now. Carefully guiding your body back to center, removing your strap. Place your 2 hands to your blocks or the mat, extending that front leg straight, taking your pelvis back, flexing your left foot. Begin to fold your chest towards the left shin. Now this left leg does not have to be straight. There can be a nice softness to the knee. Just adding a little bit of space and length into the hamstring, into the glute, into this IT band. And again, you can stay like this or walk your hands and or blocks over to the long left side of your mat. Keep your legs exactly where they are. Just bow your chest towards the long left side of the mat. Keep flexing that left foot. Breathe here. Use your inhale to come back to center, lowering that left foot and placing your hands to the floor, stepping back either to down dog or tabletop or child's pose if you'd like. Take a nice big inhale and a nice big exhale. Meeting on our knees and then coming around to a seat. We're going to adjust the positions of our props and come into a reclined offering. So I'm going to place the blanket under my pelvis, and then I'm going to give you lots of options to choose for a supported upper back bend. First option is using the bolster and using a single block. You'll put the block at the far end of the mat. You'll lie the bolster on top so that there is a slight incline. Your pelvis stays on the floor, your length of spine and back of the head goes on the bolster, and you have this little incline so that your head, once again, is a little higher than your heart. So this is one option. I'll just show you what this looks like. And then you can choose soles of the feet together, knees wide for butterfly, legs long and wide in Shavasana, or feet as wide as the mat, knees bent and knees touching in center, hands to belly, arms wide across the floor. Your choice. That's one option. Another option, keep the block where it is and just turn the bolster the other way. So now the bolster is actually going to go underneath your rib cage, around and near your shoulder blades. So you can play with this one and see how that feels. If any of these create too much compression in your lower back, add the chip foam block or another folded blanket under the pelvis. So for this one, you can either keep the block for the back of the head, or if it feels nice, you can lower your head to the floor and just have the bolster supporting the chest and upper back. Same options for your legs. Same options for your arms. One final option is just with two blocks. This one is a bit firmer and a little higher. The two blocks are in a T shape at the back of your mat. One block is going in between your shoulder blades, the other block is for the back of the head. You come down the exact same way, coming down onto your forearms first, finding this first block in between your shoulder blades. Second block for the back of the head. People either love this one or they don't, depending on the way you are made up. So see how it feels for you. And again, choose the position of your legs, butterfly, shavasana, or bent knees, hands to belly or arms wide, palms facing up. Closing your eyes if that's comfortable. Breathing fully around your chest and heart. Letting your arms and shoulders get nice and heavy. And if in any of these positions it would feel good to move the shoulders and arms, you can. So a couple of things you could try would be some shoulder rolls, or hands to shoulders and circling the elbows, or taking your long arms all the way up to the sky and all the way back behind you, and then wide arms all the way down by your sides. You can play with that, lifting the arms all the way up and all the way wide and down. Let's just take 5 more breaths where you are. And when you are done your 5 breaths, you can either roll to one side or you can lift yourself up just with enough effort to remove the props that are underneath you. If you want to keep a little cushion for the back of the head, feel free. If you want to add a bolster under the knees now as we prepare for Shavasana, you can. And this is where your eye pillow might be nice. And over your eyes, let your arms and legs get nice and wide, palms facing up. Nuzzle your shoulders underneath you a little more. Exhale your breath completely. Just enjoy the spaciousness you have provided to the back of your shoulders, in between your shoulder blades. Space you created in your lungs as you breathe in and out. And just observe the length from the crown of your head to your tailbone. And then settle in for rest. No more to do. If you have longer to dedicate to your Shavasana today, then please stay as you are. If, however, it's time for you to come out, begin to deepen your breath. Begin to add some delicate movements to your fingers and toes, to your wrists and ankles. You take a nice full body stretch as you inhale. As you exhale, hug your knees to your chest. And just gently rock across your back until you're ready to roll to your side. And carefully, you can make your way up to Sukhasana, a tall, comfortable seat. Keeping your eyes soft or closed if you can. And simply observing how you're sitting now at the end of this practice. Is there any release or relief around your shoulders, your neck, your chest, your upper back? And how are you breathing into that space of chest and lungs? Is your breath any more three-dimensional into all sides of your ribs? Just notice. Noticing your posture and alignment, noticing the position of your shoulders, noticing the space between your ears and your shoulders, the widening of your collarbones. May any benefits we've gathered from this practice stay with us as we step off our mats and into the rest of our day. May we remember how we're sitting right now and make adjustments during the day to come back to this place. One sealing breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. And if you'd like to join, inhale to Om. Inhale. Thank you all for joining, for your time, your energy, your breath. It's been a pleasure to guide you. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Namaste.